Alright, I'm down here with my famous rod that got swam downstream, hooked to a steelhead for 2 miles where a guy found it. I cannot believe it. And I'm going to show you the cowboy hat trick. And this is a trick I use to make sure I'm completing my stirring the pot in the Scandi cast. So, the guideline lacy, which I have here, which is my favorite rod for most purposes, is what we're going to be using, because it's a true Scandi rod for sure, no doubt about it. It's my idea of a Scandi rod. This hat is provided by Hollow.horse Hat Company, my good friend and patriot. He's a war vet. He's the ex-police officer, stud of a guy, retired from all that, and now he's doing his hat business. So if you'd support him, that'd be awesome. Link's going to be in the bio. These hats are hand bent, hand steamed, hand everything. For this drill, what we need to do is understand that Scandi cast is a cast. I like to, stand like this. Starts here, you stir the pot, and it ends here. Rod should be upright enough that it at least hits your brim of your hat when you come around for the forward cast. It's not a cast where you cast here, it's a cast where you cast here. So I really usually do this in a baseball cap. I'm really upright in my rod position in my Scandi cast. When my casting's getting shaky, what I usually go back to is make sure I'm stirring the pot all the way around, and this rod is right here. I want it right here, hitting the brim of this cap, and that's the cast. And so it is very helpful, and I go back to that. If I'm starting to get too sloppy with my Scandi cast, I go back to the same principles in casting. Okay, that is the cowboy hat trick, the cowboy hat tick for Scandi cast. So, another thing I like to do, and I've incorporated this in a lot of my casts after working with Travis Johnson, is I like to get, the Scandi cast, the underhand cast, the Goran Anderson, Klaus Freemore underhand cast, is really for casting off the bank. That's why the short head, the long leader, and that's why the rod remains mostly upright through the process. So it's very short, very compact, and that rod just draws a circle in the air. However, so when I'm fishing to the chutes though, and I'm weighted out to my waist, and I still want to get a tight D-loop, I might really flatten my rod and go all the way out here. Okay, I might want my rod super flat on the sweep. So you still stir the pot, but you see, and even there, I got that anchor way behind me. I am not warmed up left-handed. I'll do it right-handed. So, if you get super flat on your sweep, which means you lift, sweep out here like this, and then back around, you get your D-loop and you'll get your anchor way out there, and sometimes that helps with alignment. It helps it stay out of the trees to go really flat, if you're up against the bank. Really helpful to sweep flat. It's also a little bit easier if you get sloppy to throw a bloody L, but what I've found is if I have a little bloody L in there on a Scandi cast, it really does not matter that much. There, okay. So here's what that sweep looks like facing you. Okay. So that's a couple things to really think about is completing, stirring the pot. What most guys do wrong with a Scandi cast is they go stir the pot to here and then go like this. You got to stir the pot to stir the pot. You don't have to do it. For me, my Scandi casting started becoming to where I didn't need a super duper fast stiff rod. You can really sweep and get a D-loop by going like that, cowboy hat drill, casting. Better yet, okay, elbow goes back, stir the pot to here, hit the cowboy hat, and you can have it in here if you want. But the cast is here, not here. You can cast like this, but it's not, you're not getting the most out of the underhand style. Nevertheless, I cast sidearm quite a little bit when I'm fishing. I do everything when I'm fishing. All this stuff goes out the window when I'm fishing, and I use only what I need, and I end up casting a lot different when I'm fishing. The other thing I'll say, this is a 3-tip thingy for you. Besides getting your anchor way out there by sweeping flat, the other thing is, so the other nugget I'll give you with this stirring the pot drill is that's how you make a D-loop. See, for a standard single spay, I might lift here, sweep, and cast, and that's probably more of a V-loop thing. Okay, when you sweep, flat, circle up, cast, you get more of a V-loop. You can't, that's if you sweep at an incline rod tip path angle. For the sweep, the rod left, sweep flat, cast, okay. Left, sweep flat, cast. But if you're gonna stir the pot, that's how you get your D-loop. Left, okay, left, sweep. That's a D-loop, right? That's a D-loop. That can help you plant your anchor too. When you sweep like that. My anchor's all over the place. I think I have a different line on here than what I thought about. I did. So, there. So, anyway, that's how you get a D-loop. So, not that it matters that much. But if you're into how to get a V-loop versus a D-loop, there you go. Anyway, Hollow Horse Hat Company, toughest hat in the business. But for Scandi, when I'm going for ultimate distance and ultimate relaxation, I don't want to be pounding it or hitting it hard. I make sure I go around all the way to the hat brim and then really concentrate on a high stop and just a gradual acceleration, and really making sure the tip of that rod unfolds that line, and that Scandi line just lays out in a tight loop. And it is really fun to cast that way. It really, if you're looking for a way to cast that doesn't hurt your body, you can at least incorporate this part of the Scandi cast in it, where you come up and cast, where you're making the rod do the work, because the rod stops up here and you're pulling with your bottom hand and just a little with your top, and that bends that rod and just flings it right out there, especially if you got the right rod. I have here a Nom Rain. It's a 15-foot 10-weight 5-piece, and I've been casting my Gale Force 54, which I've modified into a super cool shooting head, so I could run monoline as running line with it. And this is so pleasant. It is so wonderful to cast. Kind of rolls out like my comp head, like my Gale Force Equalizer head, but it's shorter, more manageable on this 15-foot rod. You know, you can wade deep and still cast a pretty far cast, make a nice presentation. Plus, with this 15-foot rod, you can really mend. It's very helpful, and it's a light rod. You know, I know some of you think, oh, a 10-weight, that's too much. Well, it isn't. It's balanced with my Hardy Bougle. And I usually have, when I'm fishing, usually balance is about right here for me. I don't hold it here. I hold it up a little bit. I could use a heavier reel, but you know, sometimes having a perfect balance so you can hold on to the grip. I mean, I know we paid for a grip, but I seriously don't mind on my longer rods having a couple finger on the actual blank. And there is such a thing to consider as hand speed when we're casting, you know. And I don't really notice any difference if I had a reel that balances my rod, as far as, you know, do I get more power if I have a heavier reel or all that. I don't notice any difference. You know, maybe the weight in the bottom hand helps, or maybe it hinders because we want hand speed. I don't know. And those kind of things I don't really care about it. And I don't like to pick up a rod. I've had guys hand me their rods, famous rods, you know, really nice rods, and they got a nice big, like a really high quality spay reel, really nice. And they'll hand me the rod and I'll go, oh, cool. And it's like, ooh, holy smokes, this thing weighs, you know, 20 pounds down here. It doesn't. I mean, it could be an ultralight, super high, cool graphite, but if you got a great big reel on it and a heavy reel seat, or all this stuff is somehow really heavy, it's just not enjoyable for me. And this is pretty light, even if I have to fish with my hands here. It's really no sweat to go like that and, you know, pull a rock off a snag, which usually happens. So, but anyway, this rod is so much fun. It's the 5-piece, ultralight. It's a perfect match with this Gale Force 54. 63 would probably work on it good. Anyway, super good rod, and I usually reserve the hat trick with the Scandi cast, or strict underhand Klaus Freemore cast, but it should work for this too. And of course, this could help you with your Skagit casting too, to get the rod all the way around to go over the top. If it's too flat, not gonna get the continuous mojo in there. So consider this for all casting, and if it doesn't work, then you can have your money back. Oh yeah. Anybody tells you a fly on a long leader doesn't sink, it sinks really good. So cast is going to look like this. See, my thumb hit my brim of my hat. So from here, it's going to look like this. Just a dead dog laser. That is so cool. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, that time my thumb hit my brim of my cap. So I'll do it with a lower hand position. Do it more Scandi-like. Nice cast. So the idea is, now this is the trick of the year, and I'm not gonna share it too much, but we start on this left hip for Scandi. We lift, and you've got to stir the pot all the way to there. Okay, and return it to your hip. You don't just stir halfway. You got to stir the pot from here to here, so the rod hits the brim. Okay, so our hip and our hand and our shoulder are lined up. That's the cast. That's a Scandi cast. And the way I really started doing this was when I was doing all that practice last winter, and I only had river left. I started doing that with the brim of my baseball cap. And I come around, rotate, top hand. See, for a Scandi cast, the top hand, the elbow kind of can come in a little. I want the top hand not to come out here. I want it to come like in here. So this lines up. That's honest to goodness. If you watch Klaus doesn't say everything on his videos more than once, so you got to really watch him. But that's the deal with this underhand cast. See how nice I can just unroll this whole line without any trouble. I don't know if you guys can see it, but and that is so fun, especially with a little Scandi head, you know. I'm going to do the same drill. Left, rotate. Beautiful loop. And that rod hit my ball cap, hit my cowboy hat right here. This is aligned with this, and this is aligned with this. And the cast's done like that. And you can kind of season it to taste. Of course, when you get to fishing, everything changes. That time my rod was canted a little more, and that's fine. That's no big deal. But for ultimate short line work, I want to come right there. See, and there's the cast. I should have ended the cast more to my left. It's designed to go from here to here. Ouch. And that is so cool. So we left, rotate our body, circle the pot. Beautiful money cast. So try that on for size, Pilgrim. Ouch. Line Speed Jedi over now.